Hello, everybody, and by everybody I mean Dr. Connor. This is us, Majo and Luis, and we are gonna talk to you a little bit about the book that we read, which is The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat. And it's not a comedy. It's actually a really interesting book that speaks about how different pathologies and like memory loss or things that alter our perception of reality, or what else can we say?
Like how these new ways of living change the whole identity of the patients or the person who is having these neurological changes.
And it's interesting that you're mentioning identity, because in the book it says that the brain or the mind, whatever, not whatever, but I don't know which, honestly. I think both. I think they're separate and at the same time not.
Yeah.
Will do anything in order to compensate and restore and maintain identity, even when a great loss has been done. This book was written by Oliver Sacks, a British neurologist and writer, and he has divided it in 4 sections, which is losses, excesses, transports, and the world of the simple. And we have selected a case of each section to analyze and discuss. And so, shall we start with the first one, which is titled the same way as the book, The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat. And it speaks about Dr. P, who is a music professor, I don't know where.
In some university in the United States.
University in the United States. And basically what he has is a visual agnosia. So he can see, he's not blind, but he cannot see the bigger picture. He can only see details of things. And I don't know, I think this is very hard to imagine, but he's not even aware of his pathology. He came to the doctor for some other reason, not that, because it didn't even present an issue in his career, because he's a music professor and his musical talent is intact. And people in the university, they just think that he's
funny.
He's funny.
Yeah. He makes like mistakes for, I don't know, jokes. I don't know.
Yeah, they think that he's a quirky man. That's it. However, he cannot even recognize his own face. Not even in the pictures, but I think he cannot even remember it. It's insight as well. And that's why he cannot perceive it as a problem. So we think, who has a greater loss? He who knows what he lost, or he who doesn't? I don't know.
That's a great question. Also, I think it's interesting how he was an artist and he painted.
Yeah, that's true.
And also how the paintings were changing in time. There were like more realistic ones, and then it becomes more like
abstract.
Yeah, I don't know how to say cubism or como se dice.
Cubism?
Yeah.
Okay, girl. There she goes. But what's really interesting here, and what's going to repeat in a lot of the cases, is that, we have this really, really negative connotation of pathology, that it's something that we must fix. This is a paradigm that comes along with the medical, way of thinking, the medical logic, that we must correct anyone that is in the borders of the normal curve.
Yeah, and also if you have a pathology, you are suffering.
Yes.
Like it's a linear thinking.
A correlation.
Yeah.
But the pathology means suffering. Sometimes pathology can actually be liked.
Yeah.
For example, in our second case, which is Cupid's disease, this speaks about this 90-year-old woman who comes to Oliver Sacks' office after being evaluated by other specialists, because after her 88th birthday, she experienced a sudden rejuvenation. Like she started to feel young and with energy, and she wanted to hook around and but she's 88, so at the beginning her friends were like, yes, but then they were like,
stop,
girl, you're 90, Like, get a grip. But she didn't want to. Anyways, she was diagnosed with neurosyphilis. That was what was affecting her cognition, but in a really, really good way. So she didn't want it to be taken away. She liked the pathology that was inside her.
Yeah, I also read a citation about Mr. OC, and it says, I don't want things to get worse. That would be horrible. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to be cured either. Mm-hmm. That would be just as bad.
Yes.
And I think that's very interesting how she compares like being cured is worse than being
sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So I wrote here actually, perhaps disease and well-being aren't as far apart as we think. Perhaps they're not opposites at all. Perhaps disease and well-being can coexist in the same space, in the same person. So it's according to society to determine what's sick and what's not. So I feel that really speaks about what we saw in class. When does a thing become pathological? So we know that everyone has symptoms of something, right?
Yeah, right.
But it becomes pathological when that symptom or that cluster of symptoms interfere with a person's daily life and functioning and social life and economical stability and many things. But if it doesn't, then it could actually be beneficial. You can actually use an OCD. You can actually use your depression. You can actually use your schizotypic way of thinking. You know they're there for a reason. I think.
Like the fourth case.
Exactly.
The artist one
exactly.
And the music.
Yeah. On our fourth case, we talk about the autistic artist, which is the story about Jose, a 21-year-old man who is mute due to encephalitis, an infection that he got when he was a kid that affected his temporary lobes. So he was normal at the beginning, but because of the encephalitis, he was unable to continue to develop language. He cannot perceive it, nor process it, nor produce it. So he's trapped in his own world. That's why people think he's autistic, but I think the author doesn't think that he's autistic at all. He was made autistic because he was kept in a basement for years and years and years because his parents were older and they didn't know what to do with him. They had no education whatsoever, no resources, I guess. Maybe they did have them, but
they just keep them in a room, I think.
In a room, in a basement. His only contact was magazines, nature magazines, and he used to draw them. He had a very, very prominent talent. And what brought him back to light again was that he had a really, really violent attack. That he broke things around the house and his friends couldn't handle it anymore. So they took him to the ER. And that's why I mentioned on my essay the importance of symptoms as well. Because if he hadn't had that attack, he would have stayed in that basement. He would have never met Oliver Sacks. He would have never improved his condition. He would have never had contact with people again. He would have been isolated forever. So I think in a way, his unconscious was, I don't know, maybe his super ego as well was upset about the injustice that he was living by and literally manifested a symptom through his body that cannot be like logically correlated, but it worked. It got him out of that place. It got him out. It got him help. He was able to be seen again by some other people, understood, talk, and he started to try talking. He cannot, but he tried because he said that it was worth it again to try.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I didn't saw that part that he like start to have motivation to start talking. Yeah, that's a very good point. And also I think it's important how he starts like interacting with the real world, with the through the painting and drawing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And his drawings, they have a lot of life to them. They have a lot of character and passion, something that he cannot express with words. He can express it some other way, because at the end of the time, he is a human being. He has a human soul, and his psyche is alive with him and desires to be expressed and desires to be known and desires to be seen. And I think that's the main reflection that I get from this book, that, you know, certain psychological paradigms and also the medical one are obsessed with numbers. They're obsessed with quantifying reality. They think they can put a number in someone and then determine reality, because that's what we want as humans. We crave to understand everything. But I think some things are not able to be, you cannot understand them. And I think
a number way.
I think a lot of humans, I think a lot of humans fear that, what they cannot understand, or that they are unable to understand it forever. I think the soul is one of those things that we are unable to understand, but that doesn't mean that we're unable to touch it and to see it and to hear it. And Oliver Sacks has a really, really, important. He really highlights the importance of qualitative data as well, and that people are not just numbers and cases, they're humans, and what they have experienced matter, and their stories matter, and what they have to say matters as well, and the fact that maybe this pathology actually works for them, and they don't want it taken away. They want to work with it. They want to work with the new reality that they have been presented with.
Yeah, and why not? you know, like, why do we have to just keep doing the same thing, being the same things? Yeah,
exactly.
And also, I was thinking about Gestalt therapy and about the whole thing, about Gestalt. That it's about not only seeing like one thing, like the pathology, but the human being and all their experiences. Yeah, all the experience, and also how it's correlated. So if you touch one thing, the whole thing it's gonna change.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and I think for as psychologist or
psychotherapist or
I don't know any other who can take care of us, I think they need to be more aware of the whole picture, not only like the symptom.
Definitely. So I think that's the main takeaway, what Majo just said, that we as professionals of the mind must include the fact that there are some numerical data that we can use, but also experiences and perceptions and individuality and the human spirit matters. And I think you cannot treat a person with numbers.
Yeah, no.
You have to see them and you have to understand them.
Yeah.
So thank you, Latoya.
Thank you.